All right. Okay, so the next two people, who would like to go next?
I first heard about contact improv when I was a student in university taking a modern dance class. And it was the first thing that I got really excited about. And then I lost it for, 20 years, not really knowing how to pursue it or how or where or anything. But then I returned to it when I was teaching at an undergraduate university and auditing a class, and it came surprisingly. And I was like, oh my God, I remember this. At that point, I figured out how and where and what to do and where to go and how to make it keep happening. It felt kind of scary and overly intimate. And I remember I would wear really thick layers of clothes, really binding thick layers of clothes, because it was almost too much stimulation. But at the same time, I really craved that experience of that improvisatory touch. So it was kind of a war, fighting back and forth between those two things of kind of too much stimulation and seeking it. When I first started doing it again regularly, I was very sick. I had kind of severe chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, and I was on sick leave from my job. I kind of regained my health through it. Now I still have challenges, but I can move, and I have much more stamina and flexibility than I ever had before. And it's also really affected my writing. Just being attuned to being a body in the world has changed the way I relate to the world and to other people, but also to the way that I relate to my writing about that.
Well, I encountered contact improv in '94, I think it was, at a retreat at sort of an alternative place called Grindstone Island up near Ottawa. Yeah, and really it was just purely by chance. And then when I got back to Toronto, I found it, and yeah, it was a big deal. Well, the whole thing was terrifying, of course, and I can remember there were times when I would just wait outside, and a couple of times I went home. Actually, I would sort of show up, get to the door, and turn around and go back because it was so outside my experience. Yeah. In my body, it was not so much the physical experience as it was the emotional and sort of spiritual experience. I felt good in my body for the first time in my life, and I felt more in my body than I ever had before. I mean, this evolved over time. And yeah, and I was in the middle of one of those, what they now call, I don't know the name for it. The old-fashioned name is midlife crisis or a nervous breakdown or something like that. And so my life was blowing apart, and in some ways contact contributed to it blowing apart. And in other ways, it really saw me through it. And yeah, it's just been a very positive thing in my life. The dance community, physical fitness. I'm 73 now. I feel pretty fit, and dancing has a lot to do with that. And I'm still very comfortable in my body, just walking around, enjoying life.